Well, hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Amazing Seller Podcast. This is episode number 91 and session number 23 of Ask Scott. This is where I answer your questions all about Amazon, FBA, private labeling. I do this for you, so this way here we can kind of, interact with one another. And I always like to describe this as though we are sitting across the table from each other and you're asking me a question. And the beauty of this podcast is you are able to listen to it even if you didn't ask a question. So I've gotten so many people that just love these because they're able to hear other people's questions and they may have had that same question. So I really do love doing these. Now, the newest thing, which you guys probably have heard of, is Periscope. This is something that I've kind of been playing around with, and it's been really, really fun. Kind of becoming obsessed with it a little bit. But it's great because I'm able to now connect randomly, whether it's for 15, 20 minutes, a half hour, whatever I have time for, right here on this app. And it's owned by Twitter. And for those of you that don't know, it's periscope.tv, or you can just download the app. And from there, just search at Scott Volker and you will find me. And the cool thing about it is I'm able to broadcast live, and it's nothing fancy. It's just me sitting either on my back patio or maybe in the car waiting for my son at basketball, or who knows, maybe on the plane. I don't know, wherever I am. And I can just take a few minutes to answer some questions or maybe talk about a topic that I want to talk about that particular second or that particular moment of that day. Really, really enjoying that. What I'm going to be doing also is recording these, and I'm going to put them on a certain page, and that page will be theamazingseller.com/scope. SCOPE. And from there, I'll try to at least put the ones up that I feel are valuable. Now, a lot of them right now that I've done have been really valuable. They're just, me kind of talking about important topics, but also getting the interaction with you one-on-one in a sense where you can instantly ask a question and I can instantly give you an answer. It's the closest thing we can get to actually sitting in the room together. So enough on that. I'm really, really excited about that. So I really hope that you go over and follow me. You have to go over there and find me and then follow me. And from there, you'll hear when I'm going to be doing one. You won't really even be notified until you hear me go live. And I haven't come up with a schedule or anything yet. And it's funny, the other day I did one out on the back patio, and Brody was there, and Brody got in the shot too. And he just kind of looked up at me. He's taking another nap. That dog sleeps so much. It's so funny. He's tired. But anyway, so yes, that's what I'm kind of fired up about right now. It's really, really awesome. Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is answering your questions. Now, if you do have a question, if you're not going to go to, Periscope or any of that stuff, even if you are, ask me one here on this show so I can air it and then I can go ahead and answer it. And this way here, the podcast people that are listening, you are going to be able to benefit from it, and others in the future will also. So you can do that by heading over to theamazingseller.com/ask and just leave your first name and then just leave a short a voicemail, and then from there I'll go ahead and I'll try to answer that on an upcoming show. All right, because without those questions I can't do this particular show on Fridays for you, which I want to continue to do. So go leave a question. All right, so let's go ahead and listen to the first question, which it's hysterical, by the way, and I love it. So listen to the first question and then I'll go ahead and give you my answer.
Hello, Scott. This is Rashmi from Chicago, Illinois. I consider you my brother from another mother because you are just an amazing person. And even my daughters call you their virtual uncle because you have helped us a lot in this FBA journey. We started in May and we followed your launch process step by step to the T. And right around June, we were hovering around between 15-20 sales a day, and I have you to thank for that. And always, instilling in our head to take action. And you're like a woodpecker, keep on picking on my brain and saying, take action, and then we took action. I thank you for that. My question is regarding income tax. We always say, the take-home pay, after all the fees from Amazon is this amount. But it's not really take-home pay because we have not deducted the income tax yet. And I think you probably have already done the income tax, considering that you've started ahead of us. So you probably did an income tax for the 2014 year. So just a general, I know we live in different states, but I just want to know the general percentage of your own business income, how much you set aside for income tax, because I don't want to 100% put that back into inventory. I want to set aside a percent of that net income for income tax every month, so that when the income tax time comes, I have money to pay. So yeah, that is my question. What is the general percentage that I can set aside for income tax? Okay, thank you so much, my brother from another mother, my daughter's virtual uncle, Mr. Scott Walker. Thank you so much, sir. Talk to you later, and looking forward to your answer.
Hey, my brother from another mother. I loved that voicemail. I really do appreciate it. And I also appreciate the kind words. I really, really do. It means everything to know that what I'm doing here is making a difference. It's impacting people's lives, which that is the ultimate prize for me, really. It's the ultimate to be able to reach people and connect with people like yourself. So thank you so much for that. And anyone else listening, thank you for sending me comments, blog posts, or blog comments, or emails, or iTunes reviews, any of that stuff. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, or even the scopers out there that are joining me on Scope. Thank you. Okay, so to answer your question about income tax, now again, I have to say, contact your accountant, your financial advisor, and ask them what you need to do. Okay, but here's my thoughts on this. All right, you are absolutely right. You want to take money from whatever profit, and I'm doing the air quotes, any profit after expenses, you want to be able to take some of that money and put it on the side. And everyone's going to have a different tax bracket. So you could be at, 22%, 28%, 33%, depending on how much money you're making, not just in this. It's going to be your overall income. All right, so you have to know where you are, and that's where your accountant will be able to say, hey, listen, you're starting to bump up your numbers. Why don't we start taking 28% out? And then from there, you're going to slide it over into like a savings account or another account. So this way here, you're not going to touch it. It's just going to be sitting there. So when you do your quarterly taxes, you can send in your income tax because you are responsible for that. But that's why I would definitely get a good accountant that, or a CPA, whatever you want to use, and that can really help you understand these numbers. And so that way it keeps you, on board as far as what you're supposed to be doing. Now, you did say one thing that I wasn't really, I guess, understanding is you were saying once you take that money or that money that you make technically, the difference, the profit in a sense, you want to be able to instantly take that and not figure on the money that you're going to reinvest in inventory. But what you really could do there is invest that money into more inventory. And even though, and again, I'm not an advisor or financial advisor or an accountant, but as long as you are going to be able to put that back into the business, there might be some type of write-off there, depending on, again, all states are going to be different and all tax codes and all that stuff. So that's why you want to check with them. But whenever you can reinvest that money back into the business, and if it's inventory that's not sold, I'm pretty sure that you have to count that as an asset, but there might be different tax things that you can do with that. I'm not quite sure. Me personally, right now, how I'm doing it is I'm basically doing kind of what you said, where, the money is coming in, the money is going out, the difference, I'm just sliding a little bit on the side, on the tax bracket that my accountant suggested that I do. And then I'm just pulling that to the side. And then at the end of the quarter, we kind of, sharpen the pencil and kind of see exactly where I am with the inventory I still have left and all of that stuff. And then from there, we can decide that. It also might be another good time to, take some of that money and invest it into some, pay-per-click. Take some of that money and really reinvest it back into the business. That's what I think everyone should be doing anyway. At least a good portion of it in the beginning to build out your, your business. I think it's really, really important to do that. I mean, because think about it. it. If you have the money coming in and you're going to take, let's say you make $12,000, and let's say you take $2,000 of that and you put it back into Amazon pay-per-click, that pay-per-click is really only going to benefit you for now, for sales that you're gaining now, but also for the future, because now the more sales you get through these keywords, you're going to be ranking organically. And then from there, you're going to continually just keep scaling the business. The other thing that you could do is if you wanted to invest in some of that money to then build out yourself a website or have it built, or maybe then you're going to start doing some Facebook ads, and then so I would look at trying to invest some of that money. So this way here, you can put it back in the business rather than just cut a check to the government and give them what they're going to get, because you haven't spent that money on the business. That's a good time to really start investing in your business. So I hope that's helped. I hope it didn't confuse you. And again, check with your accountant or financial advisor, see what they recommend. But that's kind of what I do. That's actually exactly what I do. So I hope that's been helpful. Thanks again for the awesome voicemail. Son from another mother, and your kids now. I'm a virtual uncle. So very, very cool. Love it. So thank you so much. And let's go ahead now and listen to the next question, and I'll give you my answer.
Hey, Scott, this is Ryan from Arizona. First off, I just want to say thank you for what you're doing. Your show is so well produced, and your subject matter knowledge on doing private label Amazon is just so impressive, and your generosity in providing that knowledge to us, I can't thank you enough. I had a question about having a private website. I'm not sure if you covered this in an earlier episode, but I know when I'm shopping on Amazon, oftentimes I will do a Google search for the brand name and see if they have their own separate website, kind of like you said, with social proof, just to make sure that they're a legitimate company. Do you have a private website? And if so, when did you decide to make that a part of your business? And also, do you just direct people back to Amazon, or is it strictly informational? Thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Hey, Ryan, what's up, man? From Arizona, huh? Hot there. Man, it's hot. My buddy lives there, so I know it's really hot. He loves it. I would probably like it too, but I don't think you get the humidity as much. Thanks for the question. Thanks for the feedback. Again, I really do appreciate that. You're getting something from what I'm putting out there. I mean, it means everything. So I appreciate that. And it's funny because your question kind of tied into the last question that I just answered, kind of by reinvesting. But I don't think that I would focus on having that website, built until I figured out everything else, meaning you have steady sales, you have reviews. I don't think that you putting a website out there for the people that might be like you, that are going to go and kind of see that they have a website and then to kind of get that social proof thing. I don't think that's as necessary as focusing on getting reviews, getting pay-per-click in line, getting that tweaked, getting all of that stuff, and just getting consistent sales. I think you're better off to focus on that and then focus on the website stuff later. Is that important? Yes, I believe that having a website when the time is right is important, because you're right. It does give you, proof that you're a company, and it also gives a great place or a great, piece of property there, a real estate on the, on the internet that allows people to come to your site and maybe even find you through Google eventually. I mean, again, we talked about in the last question that I answered about reinvesting, that reinvestment might be building a website and then taking money every single month and hiring someone to write content for that blog or that website. So this way here, you can start over time organically generating traffic from Google or Yahoo or Bing or any of those. So there is a time for it. It's just in the beginning, depending on where you are, I don't believe that that's the time. Now, if you're trying to get into certain categories, that may be a necessity. Also, if you're trying to do brand registry, if you're trying to get your brand registered, you will need a generic website. But a generic website, you can put one of those up yourself, or you can have someone on Fiverr do it really inexpensively, just to kind of satisfy the needs that you'll have to have for getting that stuff approved and all of that. So those are just some things to think about. But if you're doing it for social proof, for people that come to that product to go, I want to see what this company's all about. I'm going to go see and search their brand. I'm going to go do this. You're not going to get, I don't believe you're going to get people, a ton of people, versus if you just focused on people that are internally inside of Amazon buying, and then they're just going to click buy. I think that you're better off to focus on getting the reviews for that social proof That social proof is huge, and also focusing on getting the keywords or your product to rank for keywords by using pay-per-click, and then organically start ranking for those keywords. That's where your time should be spent in the beginning until you get consistent sales. That's what I would focus on every single day to really refine that and tweak it. The website stuff can come, but that's what I would do. If you're at the stage now where the last question I just answered, he was at that stage, well, then you want to take some of that money and start reinvesting that and putting it back into the business and spend money on having a website done and having all of that, SEO juice start coming from content that you can create around your particular market. And it's funny, I talked about this on a recent scope that I did. I did a session where we were talking we were talking about a lot of stuff, but this came up more or less about, is Periscope even for people that sell products on Amazon? And the thing is any of these social channels aren't necessarily great for, hey, come on, buy my product. But what it is it's good to, find a market or an audience that wants your product or that could use your product or is interested in something about your product. So if you sell a garlic press, you might do a Periscope where you're going to be, or any content for that matter, where you're teaching people how to cook Italian meals. And you're using your garlic press and you're using your spatula and you're using all of the things that go, the bowls and, all of this stuff, the pasta press or whatever, right? All of this stuff that goes into making that meal, you would be using your products. And by doing that, you're going to have a following because people are going to follow you regardless if they buy your stuff, but because they're interested in Italian meals. So that's just a good example of showing you how you can use social media to sell products without really having to go out there and sell your products, if that makes sense. So anyway, I hope that's answered your question, and good luck to you. And I really do appreciate the question. So let's go ahead and listen to one more, and I'll give you my answer.
Hey Scott, Dennis here from Northern Kentucky, and I am just now preparing to go from a regular retail arbitrage seller to a private label seller, and it's all because of your awesome podcast and information, guests, and everything else that you provide for us. So I want to start off by saying huge thank you to you for everything that you're doing. It really is helping take some of the fear out of it for a lot of us. Now I'm ready to take action and garlic press on, but I had one question. Since I have an existing account and I've been doing fulfillment by Amazon, doing retail arbitrage, things like that, I have a catalog that has maybe 100 other items in it. Now when I get my private label items and I'm trying to push reviews to that specific item using my Feedback Genius, do you know of any way to filter out who will get the emails from Feedback Genius? I've looked around and I've found nothing. Like, I don't want it to go to a book that I picked up. I don't care that they review that book, but I want them to review my private label product instead. That's it. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and garlic press on.
Hey, Dennis, thank you so much for the question and the kind words. Again, I really do appreciate it. And you know what? You've got a head start, right? Because you're doing retail ARB. So you've kind of already figured out the system and how it works. And I always tell people too in the beginning, if you're just starting, like if you're listening right now and you're just starting, or maybe you need to get a little cash together to buy your first set of inventory, retail ARB is probably a great route for you to go, because this way here, you're going to be able to get some cash and you're also going to learn the system. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt trying to find the products, but once you do, you're going to list them. You're going to be able to, if you want to, you can use pay-per-click, but you don't necessarily have to, but you're going to understand the platform, and you're going to then also be able to generate a little bit of cash. So it's good. So you've got a little bit of a head start, which I think is great. Now, let me just talk a little bit about what you said. Now, you have, and I get this question a lot too from people that say, I've been selling retail ARB, so I've been selling like a mixed bag of products, and my brand, my seller account is called XYZ Wholesale or something, right? Should I create a new seller's account, or should I sell under this same brand? The thing is if you roll out a private label product, and let's say that it's called, killer cooking stuff. I don't know. I can't think on the fly, I guess, today. Whatever, kitchen goods are us or something, right? So you come up with a brand for these for the garlic press, for the pasta press, for maybe a salad bowl, whatever, right? So you come up with a brand for this, then you list that brand in your, you do your listing. And I think you probably already know this, and you didn't ask this question in particular, but I know some people will ask that. So I wanted to address it, and then we'll address your question in particular. But so then what you would do is you would create this private label brand, and you would start calling that in the brand when you do the listing, you would start calling it your name of your brand. And then when someone would actually click on that in the listing, it would only take them to products that were listed by that brand, not your main seller's account. Now, if they wanted to click into your main seller's account, then yes, they would see all of your products, which isn't a big deal. But some people say, should I create a brand new account? And, yes, you can, but you don't have to. And it's not that easy to create a brand new account. You have to go through a couple of, you have to jump through a couple of hoops to make that happen. And I don't think it's necessary in this case. All right. So, and I know that wasn't your question. Your question is, you've got like a Feedback Genius set up, which I used that for a long time, and it definitely will do what you need it to do. You're just not using the feature inside of it. I currently use Sales Backer, which does this exact same thing. Actually, it's a little bit easier than Feedback Genius, but Feedback Genius still allows you to do this. And I did this with, I think I had up to 4 products at the time. So basically all you have to do in Feedback Genius is you just have to create a campaign for that particular product ASIN. Okay, so you'll put your ASIN in there, and then the only time that message is going to be, or that sequence is going to be delivered, is to that particular ASIN. So you just have to do that in the back end of Feedback Genius. And if you had any questions as far as that, I would just reach out to them, and they'll be able to tell you or give you a document or some type of support document that'll help you get through that. But really, you can just set it up per product and then per sequence, per email. So each product will have its own sequence. So you will be able to direct message that customer to get a review for that particular product. That would not be good if you could only send out one thing generically to say, hey, like, you just bought one of my products, can you give me a review? That's not the way we want to do this. We want to be able to, say, hey, you just purchased, our stainless steel garlic press. We really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, tell us how your experience was, at least leave us an honest review or something, right? Or here's a PDF for the cooking guide that I promised or something, right? That's pertaining to the garlic press. But you might also sell, I don't know, you might sell backpacks, and then the backpack might be different than, that, which I don't advise doing that anyway. It's just an example. Obviously, if you're going to sell garlic press, you want to go down that garlic press route. You want to do other things that are related to that product, but I think you already know that. But your question was, how do you go after that particular product with a certain sequence? And you can do that very easily with most any of these automated sequence delivery softwares. Feedback Genius does it, and I know SalesBacker does it too. SalesBacker doesn't necessarily do it per ASIN. It actually loads in the product title and stuff, so you can actually see it, and then you can just select. You go into that product that you load inside of SalesBacker, and then you just select the campaign that you want to use as you, and then it'll use that campaign per that product. Just a little bit different, but it basically works the same. So I hope that's been helpful. Hope I didn't confuse you too much, or anyone else listening. But let's go ahead and listen to one more question, and then I'll give you my answer, and we'll wrap this baby up.
Hi, Scott. This is Jervis. I really enjoy the podcast. Had a quick question. I've been doing wholesale on FBA for a while, and we're starting to do private label. And I was just wondering, when you do your tax collection, do you actually use the tax code and apply taxes so that it gets collected when they make purchases, or do you just take it out of your profit? Thanks.
Hey, Jervis, thank you so much for the question. And wow, we've gotten some tax questions today. This is a little different, though. This is sales tax that you're talking about, I'm pretty sure. Okay, let me touch on this. And again, I know a lot of people have heard me in the past and they've had questions, and the sales tax thing is just a very, very complicated mess. And I don't think anyone really knows the right thing as far as what to do. As far as what sales tax to collect, where, what jurisdiction, all this stuff. All I can do is give you a reference to, or a resource to go check out TaxJar. That's what I use currently right now. And they have a ton of information, and they're very helpful. So if you have any questions, I would reach out to them and ask the questions there. Everyone has their own philosophy on this. I personally I did go ahead and file in the states that I'm sending inventory to and some of the ones that I am doing most of my sales in. Now, some say, well, you have to do it in all of them, and I'm not really sure what the answer is. So I'm going with like the ones that I sell the most in right now, and the ones that I send my inventory to. Those are the ones that I'm definitely doing the sales tax in. I'm eventually going to be filing in all the states. I think right now there's 12 or 14, but TaxJar will give you that information. But from what you were asking, yes, you do not want to not collect the sales tax if you're going to be paying it, because then you don't want to pay out of your profit. So if you are collecting sales tax for, let's just say, California, well, you are going to check that box in the back end of the Seller Central. They're going to start adding that cost to the customer. So the customer is going to be paying for that. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to then at the end of that pay period, after that 2 weeks, you're going to actually look and see how much sales tax was collected. Now in TaxJar, it does all that work for you. So all you have to do is kind of see what was collected and what you need to basically separate. So going back to the question I was talking about with income tax, it's very similar. So if you just got paid $10,000 from Amazon and then you go into your TaxJar account and you see that you collected $800 in sales tax, well, out of that 10 grand, you better take $800 and put it on the side, because now when you pay your sales tax for those states, you need the money there instead of dipping into, the other account or whatever, or, your main account. So you want to keep things separate. I divide my stuff up by savings accounts. And then this way here, it's not being touched. It's not being mixed. And then this way here, when the time comes, I'll automatically either just transfer it over and then it gets dispersed, or I just pull it from that savings account, or have them pull it from that savings account. So another little complicated mess that the sales tax thing is, don't let that stop you. But what I do recommend is playing by the rules. And, I do believe that everyone should be following the rules with Amazon, because of course we know it's their playground, and we need to play by their rules. And I would definitely recommend following them as closely as possible. At least, do what you think is right. That's what I'll leave that at. Now, TaxJar, like I said, a wealth of information. I would strongly recommend visiting that site. Don't get overwhelmed because there is a lot of information, but then I would reach out to them, and I would even contact support and ask any questions you have there. And they may even, they had someone I think that they referred me to. I never did go down that road. I actually ended up hiring my father to help me out with this. And I basically told him that he would take care of the sales tax portion of it and I would pay him. He's retired. So I kind of found like a retired guy that, needed a little bit of extra money or wanted a little extra money, and he's going to help me out. So you might be able to find an accountant that'll help you out with this as well. So I would look into that, but that's my long-winded answer on that. I know it wasn't the best answer as far as I guess it was. It was telling you that, you don't want to take it out of your profit. You want to collect it, and then you want to disperse that money that the customer paid. Because if you're collecting sales tax, they should be paying that sales tax. And I know some people have said, well, don't you see your sales going down if you see sales tax in there? People will abandon the cart. I don't see a difference, but I mean, who knows, but I don't think so. I mean, you're going to start seeing it more and more. So I wouldn't necessarily worry about it. So that's my take on that sales tax as far as separating it. I would definitely separate it and make sure that you're collecting it, if you're going to be paying it. You don't want it to come out of your pocket necessarily. So that's pretty much what I would do. Okay, so that is pretty much going to wrap up this session of Ask Scott. And I did want to just kind of, touch on this too. We're approaching the fourth quarter here pretty soon. So if you are already selling, definitely make sure that you try to figure out what you will need for inventory, because you don't want to wait to the last minute and then, have your supplier say, we're about 60 days out, we're not going to be able to get it to you. So definitely you want to take care of that now, and really start planning for that. Now, just to kind of give you guys, like a little bit of a backstory, maybe some of you that just are tuning in for the first time, I started last October. So I was just getting started just when fourth quarter was starting, and I had a pretty good, first run. But this year, because the groundwork is laid, I think it's going to be even bigger. And that's because I have, a few more products, but also the groundwork is there. I have, over 400 reviews now on my products. And so because of that, it's going to be easier to convert because I have more reviews and I'm more seasoned. I have more keywords I'm ranking for. So just understand, when you start this thing, you're starting and you're planting that seed. And then from there, you're going to be watering that seed throughout the year. And then when you get to this point, now it's going to be able to, become even more powerful because you've already set the groundwork. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that if you're just starting, understand that right now is probably a really good time to get a product into Amazon or more products into Amazon. So this way here, you can capitalize on the fourth quarter traffic that Amazon is going to have. They are going to have a lot of traffic, and why not be there? So this way here, you can set the stage for the upcoming year. That's kind of what I did. And I think that if you did that, you would probably benefit from that. All right. So, all right, that's going to pretty much wrap it up. Once again, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me here. Oh, and I also wanted to mention that if you haven't attended one of my live workshops where I walk you through the 5 phases for launching a product, or maybe even if you have attended one and you wanted to come by and hang out again, I do them. They're live. They're free. You can head over to theamazingseller.com/workshop and you can register there. I also answer live Q&A. And also I wanted to say, hey, if you want to hit me up over there on Periscope and you wanted to check out one of my upcoming scopes, it's really fun, by the way, you can head over to Periscope. Obviously, you're going to need the app, which you can download, and then from there, just search at Scott Volker, and you'll find me there, and then just go ahead and follow, and you'll get notifications of if I'm doing a scope or not. And so I'd love to have you hang out there. And guys, remember, I'm here for you. I believe in you. I'm rooting for you. I know that you can make this happen, but you have to do what? Come on, say it with me. Say it with me. Take action. All right, have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next episode.